Swelling goes down in 3 weeks.
Okay, good.
Hello, everyone. I'm Greg Gutfeld, along with Kimberly Guilfoyle, Bob Beckel, Jesse Waters, and she inner tubes on a Cheerio, Dana Perino, the five. So according to the New York Post, one Gitmo detainee may be released because he took up yoga and read about the Dalai Lama. Another may get sprung due to his positive attitude, which raises the question, is there a level below amateurish? Because I think the White House unearthed it. They should name it after Obama. I mean, here's a man who treats foreign policy like it's open mic night at the Funny Bone. In a mad dash to evacuate a prison to appease their left-wing overlords, the White House has become a gullible co-ed, tricked into bed by coffeehouse lowlifes bursting with sensitivity. OMG, he does yoga. He's into peace. He can't be a terrorist. His poetry is so dreamy. I love his goatee. I'd say the White House is naive, but you can't fool the willing. Obama wants to close Gitmo and will buy any excuse. Why not just say it's haunted? It worked on Scooby-Doo. Fact is, your average mom would make a better leader. She definitely wouldn't buy this yoga crock, since her job is to warn daughters of smooth talkers who spew such sweet deception. But this is the president who thinks climate change is a bigger security threat than releasing terrorists like butterflies at a wedding. But hey, I may be wrong. Yoga could be a sign of redemption. After all, it's hard to blow up a building when you're doing a downward-facing dog. Sadly, that's one position Obama has put us all in.
Oh, my God.
Sometimes a picture's worth 1,000 words, Jesse.
I really don't know where to go from there. That was one of your finest monologues, I think. I'm just happy to be here.
Well, let me ask you. So when you read this article, it's hard to believe in the Post. They say that a former bodyguard for bin Laden may go free to start a milk and honey farm.
Right. So this guy comes and starts a milk and honey farm in Martha's Vineyard, and Obama goes to vacation there?
Right.
There's no way. Yeah. Is Obama and Michelle, they're going to do yoga with this guy? You got to be kidding me.
Could happen.
I mean, for my opinion here, the only thing with the Bergdahl deal was about closing Gitmo.
Right.
That was his legacy. That's the campaign promise. He doesn't care about protecting the security of the American people. He's more concerned about protecting his legacy. You could see it before. You know, he's springing crack dealers out of prison. He's releasing illegal aliens all over the streets. He's letting guns walk into Mexico. He's disarming the missile defense in Eastern Europe. He just doesn't care.
What do you think, Bob? You got 78 of 149 prisoners cleared for release. Aren't you worried that the standards are a bit shaky because they're expediting?
Not really, but I just want to say, but I don't have time to go through it. Everything Jesse just said was wrong. So
you can fact check it. Fact check that whole thing.
And here's a fact that you need to keep in mind. That before Obama became president, 500 Gitmo prisoners were released. 500. Mm-hmm. And now we're
not as bad as
five.
these.
Oh, not as bad as these.
These are the starting five.
How do you know these guys didn't start chicken farms? Who knows? The fact of the matter is they've been trying to close down Gitmo. Both Bush and Obama, they've been right. They let 500 go under Bush. I hope they get the rest of the 500 out. And the idea that somehow these guys pose a threat. First of all, they say they're going to go back to Afghanistan and fight against us. There's about a 30% recidivism rate among those who left under the Bush administration. But we were fighting a war then. We're not there anymore. We're not going to be fighting a war. So let them go back to Afghanistan and kill each other.
Wait, they launched attack from Afghanistan on 9/11.
No,
we weren't in Afghanistan on 9/11, and we were attacked on 9/11 from Afghanistan.
And there has not been,
again, are you?
There has not been an attack on the United States of any note since then, has there?
Kimberly?
No, there hasn't, and it's not because we're releasing people from Gitmo.
It has nothing to do
like
with the
crazy befuddled logic going on over here.
Kimberly, as an attractive single woman, men are constantly putting you on with silly romantic notions about yoga. Isn't it obvious that they are lying to get out of jail?
I mean, obviously, okay? They have no interest in doing downward dog, let's be honest. And the milk and honey thing, I don't think so.
A great move.
No, I don't think so.
I think you're confusing it with something else.
The problem is that they'll say anything to justify letting them out. I think they're going to try and release them all before the end of the year because God help them, if the Republicans take the Senate, then they're not going to be able to get this done. So I think this had to happen with Bergdahl. There was a push to do it. And, of course, you're going to bring up comparisons. You're obsessed with Bush. You and Obama both want to
I'm not
blame
obsessed with it.
everything.
Are you concerned about those 500 people who released?
You know what, Bob?
I am. The ones that went back, definitely.
I'm concerned. Absolutely, I am. And I think we should learn from the past, and I think we should make appropriate, proper decisions that are sound and based on intel and not about ideology and thinking that Gitmo's a bad place.
Bush made exactly the right decision.
They're there for a reason.
He made exactly the right decision, and so is Obama.
Dana, given that yoga is seen as a sign of redemption, should we be airdropping yoga mats into terror strongholds immediately?
And the blocks.
And yes.
And the blocks, because they might be a little inflexible.
That's
and you
true.
might need that to help.
What
you
about
reach the
Pilates?
ground. It doesn't really do anything for you if you're really trying to do abs. You have to add a little bit more into your day.
Okay.
Okay, so we could listen to national security experts, or we could listen to others who say. So the national security experts asked last week in a closed hearing with the senators, on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely is it that these 5 will kill Americans again? And the answer from the top national security official was 9 out of 10.
Right.
The chances are 90% that they will have some sort of activity that leads to the direct killing of Americans in the future. So, yes, others had been released from Gitmo before. There was a 30% recidivism rate. I don't think that is anything to write home about. Then you have these 5. Secretary of State John Kerry said it was baloney that they would attack again. And those are the kind of words that can come back to haunt you. I hope it doesn't, but I would never have said that.
You know why he called it baloney? Because he married into the Heinz fortune. So he's got meat on his mind constantly.
Oh, so it's like a subconscious way to
That's not meat. That's ketchup.
I know. But ketchup you put on meat.
on a hot dog, on bologna.
Thanks,
All right.
Bob.
Speaking of John Kerry, Dianne Feinstein called him out when he's about the bogus claims that these guys weren't a threat. Let's roll that.
I'm not telling you that they don't have some ability at some point to go back and get involved, but they also have an ability to get killed doing that.
I heard John Kerry this morning say, don't worry about them in Doha. You can't help but worry about them in Doha. And we have no information on how the United States is actually going to see that they remain in Doha, that they make no comments, that they do no agitation. And another rumor is one Taliban has apparently said that he would return to the battlefield.
Jesse, is this the scandal that finally breaks ranks among the Democrats? When you have people like Dianne Feinstein saying this guy is making no sense?
You would think so. Politicians hate when they're ignored.
Yeah.
The really big blow to their egos. Let's pick up on what John Kerry said. He said that the terrorists could get killed when they go back on the battlefield. Yeah, they know that. They're terrorists. They fight. That's what they do. They're risking that every day. And the administration has flip-flopped here, okay? In 2011, you had a terrorist, one of these 5, Kawakahari, I have no idea how to pronounce his name, but the Obama administration went to court to argue that this guy was so dangerous that they couldn't release him. He was responsible for massacres in Afghanistan. He was best buddies with Mullah Omar. He was trading weapons with Iran. So I don't know where they stand. Like 3 years ago, he was too dangerous, and now he's okay.
If there's not going to be a battlefield in Afghanistan now because the United States has pulled its forces out, who are they going to kill?
It's going to be a safe zone to launch attacks and consolidate power.
The negotiation wasn't with Afghanistan. The negotiation was directly with the Taliban. And I do think there's a difference. Qatar, if you read the front page of it was with the Taliban who agreed that Qatar was an acceptable place to put them. That was the deal to get Bergdahl back. That wasn't just to go to Qatar.
Well, I still make my point. What difference does it make to borrow Hillary Clinton?
That's a good language.
Where is it? If you have no U.S. soldiers on the battlefield anywhere, they're out of Iraq, thank God. We're almost completely out of Afghanistan. Who are they going to kill?
They're going to kill us, which they've done before.
How are you not getting the big picture?
If you guys would keep in mind that was 13 years ago.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, but you want to
have to say that was 13 years ago, dude.
Right.
Then it's okay.
Right.
Get really
Those are Bob's talking points.
No, it's not that. I mean, it was a terrible
Rob,
thing.
you can't actually believe what you're saying.
Of course I believe it.
I really don't believe that you can in this instance, because I don't think you think it's a good idea to release these guys. You can't just say, categorically
I think it was
shut down
ridiculous to have Gitmo in the first place. But
you really think there's not going to be serious security concerns and for our troops serving overseas as well by letting these guys out, and to Americans at home? These aren't people who are incapable. They are in Gitmo for a reason. They have not become rehabilitated. They are waiting for their next move.
Well, and the last 149 are the hardest ones to get to clear out of Gitmo. I shouldn't say get rid of, but to clear out of Gitmo because of the concerns about how dangerous they were and not being convinced of the assurances. I don't think that the White House did a good enough job of assuring that. Plus, I think the other question that the New York Times front page story raises today is one of, then what did we get for the swap? Because apparently we were trying to get some sort of next step talks. And we did get our soldier back, which was but that wasn't the original plan. So there's question about that on the policy. And also, just my last point on politics is getting the buy-in from Senator Dianne Feinstein should have been the first priority and the easiest thing to do.
And they didn't.
Instead, the contempt shown to Congress is what has tied them up in knots, and it's why you have more Democrats coming out and saying, no, this doesn't add up, even after they've been briefed in closed session.
Well, the Democrats are coming out because they're facing a very perilous election.
I think that on the merits, after that hearing
very few merits on Capitol Hill.
You have a spacious apartment. I think the first thing you should do after the show is volunteer 2 of your bedrooms for some of these guys. Bunk beds.
There have been several attempts in the United States, apparently, and they've been thwarted by the FBI and Homeland Security.
Nobody wants them here.
We don't. Well, and we've gotten very good at intercepting them. Why are we worried about sending them back overseas? If we can intercept them now, we can intercept them if we have the capability to do that.
I hope so.
That shows such naivety.
Yeah, it really does. You just think it's like some catch and release, like you catch the fish, you feel bad, you give it a kiss and put it right in the water.
We have to do I think that we have to use all the tools at our disposal in order to protect us. One of those was to have the military tribunals at Gitmo. Another way is to release them if you feel reassured. The reassurances here are lacking, and that's not coming from me. The 9 out of 10 phrase came from the top national security official testifying in front of closed session.
Well, why don't we just try them and find them guilty?
Well, that's a great question.
Listen,
why don't they?
The president likes to say that this Gitmo is one of the biggest recruiting tools for al-Qaeda. What do you think it is now?
What did you say?
Gitmo is one of the big recruiting tools for terrorists. What is it now? They're basically saying, hey, guys, why don't you join the Taliban and al-Qaeda? You can fight America. They'll bring you to Gitmo. They won't kill you. And then they'll release you after you play soccer in the tropics for 2 years. I mean, what kind of recruiting is that?
Recruiting tool, is that right?
Yeah,
that's what President Obama said.
You and your party have been saying.
No.
Over the last 10 years.
That's what Obama said.
That's why we're shutting it down allegedly.
Bob, your team said that.
Wait,
okay, the argument is that because the Gitmo is so bad, like Abu Ghraib, that it would create more terrorists. However, if this logic is true, then you shouldn't have any forms of imprisonment, should you? You shouldn't have any kind of methods to punish bad people because it just creates more bad people. It's incredibly bizarre.
Because the terrorists are so upset with uncivilized behavior.
Who uncivilized themselves.
I agree.
And that wasn't recruiting for terrorism.
But I don't think so.
Why not? To get back to this, why not try them? They're going to be convicted. Put them in Leavenworth.
All right.
Or put them to death if you want to. I don't believe the death.
I don't think they can go in Leavenworth.
I don't think Kansas wants them.
They can't come to. They have not been allowed to come on U.S. soil because that changes their status from enemy combatant to.
And then they're afforded all the different.
I say a ranch in Nevada in Harry Reid's district.
I don't want them here either.
I say load them up and put them in Iran. What's the problem?
All right, I'm with you on that one.
Yes, give them to Iran. Good idea.
That's great.
Oh my God.
All right, we got to move on.
Strategize.